Introducing the new puppy Kiku to Yoshi. In a nutshell, separate at first, make safe spaces, be equal, give golden hour. Here we have little Kiku, the brand new puppy, separated in her own enclosure. Then a few days she's on a leash. Safe spaces. This is an example of one of the enclosures we have where Yoshi can retreat to while he gets to know her. Everything equal. Treats, food, beds, toys. Here they both have their own pocket pal. Golden hour. This is time that is just for the one dog and what they love. This is their me time where it's just you and them, and they get that precious time to bond with you doing something that they really enjoy. For Yoshi, it's his games and it's play at home. For Kiku, she loves adventure, she loves exploring, she loves going out. Here I'm giving her some love and affection. She was pretty starved for it when she arrived. Out of a nutshell, introducing Kiku to Yoshi, the whole story. So, this is Yoshi. He's a very gentle soul. He came to me as a foster. He'd been through a pretty hard time. He was in a hoarding situation. Sometimes I wonder if it was a puppy mill. I'm not sure. He was never outside, not once, just in a little room, kept in a crate a lot. So I was very worried about bringing a new puppy in after he had so bravely made so many strides forward coming out of that history with us. He loved his home so much, and I was just so happy to give him a home, and I really feel his whole personality. He's just a little piece of my very own soul, whatever souls are made of. He's just like me. He's a little Asian hermit. He's so introverted. He likes going into a shell, and he needs a lot of time to think things through, process them, meditate. And here is little Kiki, a wild whirling dervish. She came with severe kennel cough, parasites, worms, just completely hyperactive and extremely loud, barking nonstop. So I was kind of panicking at first, really panicking. I made the decision because she'd bounced through quite a few members of the family that she was with, their extended family, from home to home. She was originally a gift for a young girl. The older sister went to college, I guess felt bad, but she couldn't cope. So then she was with the grandpa. He was ESL. He had me reading the emails, and there were breeders contacting him wanting to breed her, saying, oh, she'll never be alone. There's lots of dogs here. But I kind of panicked at that, and I offered to buy her. So, as you can see, she's longing for Yoshi to open up and kind of acknowledge her, but we are keeping them separate. She's good at entertaining herself. She's independent, but she still really longs for Yoshi to play with her. She's always calling for attention. She has a keen sense of her own dignity and what she's entitled to in life as a child of God, and she does not believe she belongs in the enclosure, as she doesn't. But this is how you introduce two dogs. You really need to give the older dog time to adjust, time to move forward at its own pace. You can't disrespect him by pushing him into the deep end too soon. You have to let him take his little peeks at her like he's doing. First he ignored her. He looked miserable. He looked heartbroken. He looked betrayed. My heart was just breaking. Then he started to take peeks. Then he started to become more engaged. He grew more and more comfortable with her. I was so happy. And once I saw that he was getting more comfortable approaching, and they were kind of communicating and playing through the enclosure, here he is teaching her one of his toys, and she's a very quick study. She's very smart. I hate to say it, but she's smarter than him when it comes to the games. she doesn't even need to learn. She kind of aces them all at first try. But so now I see that he is opening up over time. This is about a week and a bit. And now she's on a leash. So she's out, but especially since she's so wild and precocious. And he is such a delicate flower. He's come so far out of a very abusive history, and he's opened up to us. He took so long for him to open up to us, and when he did, it was so wonderful. I really wanted to respect that he not just have a whole new situation dumped on him as soon as he moved forward, not punish him for moving forward. So again, lots of safe places. I got him this carriage, which is a bit like a hermit cave for him to go into when he's outside or when he's in. He can jump in and out of the back, so he never feels trapped, and kind of have a bit of a wall there between him and the world. I truly wouldn't mind going through the world in this carriage now and then. He is my king. That's the Shih Tzu, and he's also Japanese Shin. They are royalty. They also believe that they are the souls of monks. And that little white spot on the top of his head is where the Buddha kissed him. Here they are slowly getting to know each other. This is still week 1 and a bit, so everything is still brand new for Yoshi, and he is making incredible strides forward. So here we are walking them, still keeping them apart. Kiku is a very enthusiastic walker and explorer. Yoshi is still very hesitant around the courtyard. This was a moment of great breakthrough that happened. He approached Kiku, and some mysterious animal communication took place, and they really made a breakthrough here. They were kind of playing and talking and communicating, and after that, things just started getting better and better, and I knew things would be okay. Kiku is a little bit like my former dog when she was a puppy, in that she's so intent on standing up for herself. She kind of goes way too far. And you can see here, his eyes are so much happier. She's happy. They're starting to spend time together. She's like his little sister now, and like a little sister, she follows him around. She's always interested in what he's doing. She always wants his treat. She wants his toy. She wants to do exactly what he's doing. And she is a little bit much for Yoshi. So here, he still is a withdrawn gentleman. He's interested, but he kind of scuttles away a lot. And I think he might always do that just because he's a very, very sensitive little lad, and she's so precocious. I think the one word that can't be replaced is she's rambunctious. So you often see her making a great display of strength and him kind of in the distance. I'm going inside now. I think I'm going to go sit in my little hidey house for a little while. But I'm so delighted around now to just see them playing like this. Here she is. She's taking his toy, but he's fine with it. He's having fun. Following the principle of being absolutely equal with everything, they have the same treats. The treats are everywhere, but she always wants his. The grass is always greener where Yoshi is. Here's a really cute example of it. So they have the exact same treat, and she's going to want it. And you can see on her little face, we've given her so much. We've tried to distract her with toys and other treats, but you can see on her little face, she just can't let it go. She can't even function until she gets that treat. Here's an example of her really drawing him out of his shell a bit and bringing out his playful side, because he likes spending time being very serious. But here you can see she runs across the whole patio. He kind of runs across half of it. Then every time he sort of goes a little farther. Here she is, checking in on him. He's happy to sit there and watch. We were making a lot of progress moving out of the courtyard, but after he was neutered, it was so traumatic. He really did go back a lot, and so we have to recover a lot of that ground. And she's a brat, so it's not all sunshine and roses. Here she is, pushing him in the crate because she wants all the attention. She wants all the toys and all the games, and she wants the room to herself for now. So something's going on, and she wants him. You go in the crate because I'm going to be in the room now, and I'm going to get all the attention, and I'm going to have all the snacks. And she's quite precocious, and I'm amused now, but early on when a lot of this was happening, when she was pushing him away a lot and really bossing him around, I was really, really worried because I empathize with Yoshi so much. He's a fragile soul, and he's a sweet little hermit, and he's a deep thinker, and he's also a very careful, deliberate little sort, and I didn't want him to be bossed around and dominated. It was really, really worrying me, so I was hitting the training books and that kind of thing. But as time goes on and I see them interact, I'm worried less and less. I will definitely be training her. This is just the first few weeks, so I want her to be comfortable, and I want her to see this as her home and feel happy and loved and secure, and not face anything like discipline or feel judged or chastised or anything like that. But I will definitely want to train her to just respect boundaries a bit more. And oh, poor Yoshi, she wanted me in the crate and she wouldn't let me out. And at the patio party, oh, who fell off the sofa? Yoshi. And here's the sloth treat. I don't have two of those. Yoshi's not welcome on the couch with the sloth treat. Again, this worried me so much at the time when things like that were happening, but now I just see every day him opening up more and more, and them becoming more and more like beloved brother and sister. And again, the key was introducing them carefully, providing him those places of retreat. He has his little hidey hole. It's so tiny that if I didn't get him that, he'd be squeezing himself under the couch or in all kinds of tiny spaces. He has his carriage, and things get too much, or if she pokes her nose in, he can leave out the back door. He has his tent. There's lots of places he can go when things get too much and little sister overwhelms him, because, again, he came from a very scary, stressful situation where he was always fighting survival in the hoarding house, in the kennel. He was covered in really thick, caked up poo and pee and dirt, and his fur was all matted and tangled, and it was all just caked on his bottom because he was in crates so much. He'd never once been outside, and we just went through so much, and he used to just hide, not come out. When he did finally open up to us, we were so grateful. So that's why I am just so moved and happy that he has been so gracious with Kiku. He has been so kind and so nice, and all that hoarding he did when he first came, none of that is showing itself with her when she takes his treats. He's just so sweet with her. He's also precocious, and they play fight and they do all that stuff, and he protects his treats, but with the amount of concern he had for his treats and his hoarding when he first arrived, I'm just so moved that he has such graciousness with her as she works through her problems with hoarding and needing to take his treat, and always thinking, even if they have the identical treat, the identical toy, his is always better, and she just can't even think straight until she gets his. And this is again where I learned that principle of introducing two dogs and having two dogs coexist peacefully, of having everything absolutely equal. She has two really cute little beds, a little pink one, a little tan one, fluffy one, but she wants his bed. This is Yoshi's bed. She is, with her keen sense of her rights, her dog human rights, she wants this bed. And so she's not going to let Yoshi have it. And this is when I realized they have to have things really the same, like totally equal, right down to the make and the brand name and all that stuff. So I got her own bed so that they would not fight over this. And just being super careful. I know it's not necessary, but I just don't want any antagonism. I don't want anything to ruin this, because this is going to be the next 15 years of our lives, and I want things to go so well. I don't want any big problem to happen. I'm going to be very, very conscientious with the introductions. She's going to have the same bed as him. Here she is. She's so excited. She can't even stay off it, even while it's being assembled. Again, this is just the first few weeks, and I know that when puppies first arrive, especially if they've had difficult circumstances, like little Kiku, she was so sick, she was bounced from place to place to place to place, never really wanted, or never ever, the word they use is can't cope. No, they couldn't cope either. So she's built up this resilience. She's built up a very sassy attitude of, well, she'll ask for love, but then if you don't give it, especially in the beginning, I was a little bit irritated with her, with the way she was with Yoshi. And then she'll just spin around and make a big display of, look, I'm totally okay by myself. She wants both beds. I moved them apart, and now peace has returned to the kingdom. She has the identical bed to Yoshi, so she feels like her needs have been met here. He loves his pocket pal, so I had to get, again, following the principle of equality, the same one for her. And the beauty of this is that, of course, she'll want whichever one he has, and then she'll take it, and I can just exchange it for hers. And then when she sees him with hers, of course, she'll think that that's better. She'll take it, and I can exchange it again. And so it goes. And so it will go until she just gets over that kind of frenetic neediness of those early stages. When she realizes, like Yoshi realized, he had a different approach. He had this kind of more deliberate, introverted, hoarding, hiding, and secreting away and strategizing. She is more like, I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to throw a fit. But both of them are operating from a place of need, and I know that's going to settle down with her the way it did for Yoshi. She is very gregarious. She'll walk anywhere. She'll explore anywhere. She'll fight for herself. There's a big pit bull. She's going to growl and snarl and try to take it on, even if it's block away. It's quite astounding. Yoshi's still very shy. This is the farthest he's gone in a very long time. I keep the back open. Here we've encountered some people. For him, that's scary, and he's going to bolt home. He just runs all the way home. A few examples of Kiku and just how she's willing to go anywhere. She's so easy to walk. It really is a pleasure. I can take her to all of my favorite places. Her one problem, though, is she hasn't been trained in walking. She wants to go where she wants to go, and she constantly is running into the street. A few times she's just bounced away, and I lost control of the leash, and it was quite scary. Here I am, in contrast with Yoshi, coaxing him out of the carriage. Again, he made such strides outside the courtyard, but after his neuter, he really regressed. It was so traumatizing for him. He became afraid of the world again, and hasn't been able to venture that far, so we're going back over those steps. I'm concluding this with some images of just how sweet things have been getting. They really are becoming more and more like a loving brother and sister. His eyes are happy and shiny. Her eyes are happier and shiny. They're a little bit less, she had kind of had a frenzied happiness before, where she was bouncing, but the eyes weren't like really at peace happy. Now they're kind of glowing with real happiness, and they're loving. This is Kiku. She's lovey, But her agenda is still to get his toy. But they are having beautiful moments together. She really is a wonderful little sister. Every day, she's becoming less frenetic and needy and hoardy, just like he lost his habits that came from need and desperation. And she's a cute little sister. She copies him. She follows him. Here she is sitting the way he does. He sits here and looks at the front door and kind of guards it and barks if someone comes by. And she's now doing the exact same thing. So it's so cute. They look so cute together. It has been such a blessing seeing Yoshi open up and challenge himself and move forward. I'm so proud of him. I'm so delighted with everything that's been happening these past few weeks. I know we're not out of the woods yet. So I'm going to quickly recap and summarize the elements of the successful introduction. Again, I base this on research. I came up with a plan based on my reading, the advice of trainers, that kind of thing. 1, separate at first. Especially with puppies, they're like little kids. They're testing the boundaries of their universe. They're pushing at the borders. They're looking for the limits. They want to know the rules, and part of that is just going all out there and seeing when they get a pushback. Especially if you have older puppies, like these guys over 7 months old and they've been rehomed a number of times, or they've had issues, all that pent up aggression, emotion, the experience. It's once they find a settled home, it's all going to come out. So it's nice to have those boundaries in place so they can get to know each other slowly, and nothing explosive happens early on that can damage the whole relationship. As you can see here, little Yoshi staggering towards his cave, and Kiku stops him, and she really can get very aggressive. And I know this is playful, and it livens up Yoshi's life, and he enjoys play as well, but it can get too overwhelming. She's got an incredible amount of energy, so after a certain point he does want to retreat, and at this point we don't want to put her in a cage, or we don't want to put her behind bars anymore, so we'll periodically pull out the leash and just give him a little bit of space that way, while not really punishing her for her energy or inhibiting her. She can still have fun and play. Be equal everything. Of course, they're still going to want each other's toys, especially Kiku, but if you're absolutely equal and they have identical toys, it's really easy just to switch them around. And dogs, this has actually been proven by science and by experiments. They have a very, very strong sense of fairness. They've done studies where if you demonstrate unfairness towards a dog, unequal treatment, the dog who's being treated unfairly is going to shut down, and they get depressed, and they stop doing tricks. They stop engaging with the human. So this very strong sense of fairness is something that dogs are aware of. You can see here that without my having to train her at all, she is starting to realize on her own that if she hoards all the toys, Yoshi eventually leaves, and she's not that happy. She's not having fun anymore. So the 4th one is provide safe places of retreat. Yoshi actually pulled the blind down on his crate all by himself. I didn't do it. And it just shows again how he needs those moments of retreat. Of course, Kiku really still digs in, and she really tries to draw him out of his cave, which is sweet, and I'm sure there's lots of haikus of past written about that kind of thing. Give quality golden hour. That's the last one. So quality time doing what they love. For Kiku, that would be just me and her exploring, taking in the world. And of course, I long for Yoshi to come with us, and we'll get there soon. For Yoshi, my beloved little butterball, he loves all kinds of treat games, fun, peaceful indoor games. This one is so cute. It's the coffee book. Now that the introductions are over, the integration has been made, the hurdles have been overcome for the most part, and the future is looking bright. The two know each other now, and without too much trauma and bloodshed. They look like they're going to get along, and I can definitely keep Kiku. I'm very happy. So now I focus just on the road ahead, and that road is going to involve a lot of training. That's, I think, going to be the focus for the next few months in the lives of Kiku and Yoshi.